Artur Beterbiev is now the WBC as well as the IBF light heavyweight champion of the world, with a 10th round TKO over former WBC champion Oleksander Gvozdyk. Now I am happy that the mauling, caveman-like Russian has finally got a defining fight there. It looked like he may end up being a bit of a Ibuchi situation where we just had a really good guy with all that potential and then he ended up just going away from the sport, not being imprisoned like the Nigerian, but of course he's 34 now and he's been inactive. It just didn't look like he was participating, but he's got his big shot here and he made it happen ultimately in emphatic fashion. Now Gvozdyk, at the beginning of this fight, he did look a little bit unsettled. Obviously the plan was to box a bit more, to move around, and the fight was basically fought on even terms for most of it. He landed a lot of good right hands. But it wasn't just a physical strength differential, which was obvious from the very beginning. When he got thrown to the floor and it was stupidly called a knockdown by the referee, apparently later overturned. It wasn't just the fact that how physically strong Beterbiev looked in comparison to Gvozdyk, but his feet didn't really seem to be under him either. He had this kind of shaky energy about him where he wasn't really sticking and moving. He was trying to move, but it was not that solid. He always looked like he was kind of a little bit fretting in there, you know, figuring out what to do. He did land some good right hands in the 6th round as the fight looked like it was starting to catch fire, as perhaps both of their KO percentages, it looked like it was going to turn into the shootout that people had hoped for. Excuse me. But I think one of the big issues, apart from the fact Beterbiev was so physically strong, I think one of the things that probably sapped the mental energy of Gvozdyk and ultimately stopped him believing in himself that he could win this fight is his punches were barely affecting Beterbiev. He was pinging him with that right hand quite a few times, turning him around, landing it. And yet Beterbiev just keeps coming forward with just this disregard a little bit for his defence as well. He puts his hands up, Beterbiev, but he's generally quite square on, isn't he? He doesn't fight from the side as you're taught to make more use of your left shoulder, you know, if you're orthodox, to block. He kind of, you know, he fights square. And then to avoid a lot of the shots, he does what you're really not supposed to, which is back up in straight lines. He was just kind of leaning back. And then he just goes forward, just basically dining out on the fact he's got that power and physical strength, so solid at 175, to just basically maul his opponents. That's what he does. He can punch, but it's not this big one-punch guy who lines you up and boom, takes you out of the shot. He really mauls you, Jack Dempsey style. He gets in close, and it is a skill in itself. He throws very short uppercuts and hooks when he does get inside. He's hard to read, though. It's that catch-22. Technically, he does things wrong, but he's got a willingness to get stuck in, and it's hard to know what he's going to throw. He's hard to read in there. He doesn't have set combos. He doesn't consistently work a jab. So when he approaches you, you're not quite sure what you're going to get with Beterbiev, and that probably works to his advantage. He finally gets a good breakthrough in the 9th, and again, the belief of Gvozdyk seemed to have gone from him. Now Kellerman, Max Kellerman that is, he's used the word quit here, which I think is too much. If you haven't fought yourself, I don't think you can go along saying that certain fighters have quit, but certainly in the corner, Gvozdyk had his head down. He looked like, oh man, I'm not believing in myself here. And Teddy Atlas was trying to infuse him with that spirit. He was saying, come on, you know, you're going to get your second wins. You're going to go forward. You're going to be able to win this fight. This is where champions are made. He was doing everything he needed to do as a corner man, which is what I love about Teddy at this point in his career. However old he is, he's still got so much passion for the game. And he was really trying to lift Gvozdyk with one of those inspirational speeches. But he came out, Beterbiev mauled him a bit again. Was it 3 knockdowns? And that's all she wrote. Now Beterbiev has gone from possibly just fading away to being in a great position. We of course have Canelo against Kovalev, which I probably think Canelo is going to win. And if he does, I cannot see him wanting to fight Artur Beterbiev as a defence. No way. I just can't see it. Beterbiev is far too strong and solid at 175. I don't think no matter how good Canelo looks against Kovalev, I think it will say more about Kovalev's deterioration as a fighter rather than Canelo's strengths, so I cannot see the Mexican wanting to fight Beterbiev. If Kovalev somehow wins that one and he makes his physical advantages pay dividends in that clash, then the light heavyweight division becomes very interesting. Now, of course, we never got Kovalev against Adonis Stevenson, but it's going to be a pretty good consolation prize if we manage to get Artur Beterbiev against Dmitry Bivol. I hope we see that one next.